up for the entire tournament. There he is, Kieran Hickman.
Hello boys and girls, and welcome to my post-match reaction to Arsenal's victory against Olympiacos. And yeah, this is a little bit of a different post-match reaction because I'm not standing outside the stadium with Robbie with a microphone shoved in my face. I couldn't make the trip out to Greece. Most people know anyway. One of my sons has been ill over the last couple of days and I just could not travel. I had to stay home. And listen, family first at the end of the day, and had to watch the game on the telly. It was a very, very unusual experience when you're used to going to all the games. But you know what? For around about 75 minutes or so, I was sitting there thinking, thank God I never went out there. But we got the win. Was it deserved? Probably not. On the balance of play, when you think of the chances that Olympiacos had, most notably in the first 10 minutes or so, but we got the job done. And that is the third game in a row we've kept a clean sheet. When was the last time we kept 3 clean sheets in a row? We are still unbeaten in 2020. And if you would have said to any Arsenal fan before the game, you'll keep a clean sheet away from home in Europe and you'll score an away goal, we would have took your hand off all day long. We could have had more. Once we got that 1 goal, we should have had more. You know, Lacazette missed a chance. Sokratis hit the bar. We had plenty of chances to kill the game off, but we didn't. I don't think it's going to come back and bite us because I feel that Olympiacos, for as good as they are, we're better. In all honesty, and you know, they will cause problems, don't get me wrong. They're going to come to the Emirates and they're going to play, you know, a similar kind of way in certain respects, but we've got that away goal, and I feel if we play to even half of our capabilities at the Emirates, we'll win the game comfortably. But we can't be complacent. We can't be complacent. We have to, you know, be professional with the job that we need to do. And we need to go and take care of business. You look at the performance overall tonight, opening 10 minutes, I think it was. Olympiacos were all over us. Bellerin was causing us all kinds of problems with his delivery. First couple of minutes, they should have scored. Then, you know, because we were trying to play out from the back. Then they had a real big chance. Header, edge of the 6-yard box, should have scored, headed it over. Leno, unbelievable save from David Luiz, inadvertently deflected across near enough into his own goal, but Leno, what a great save. And then we kind of flattened things down after around about 20 minutes or so. You kind of look at the balance of play and you say, okay, after that, the crowd got a little bit quieter. They weren't as hostile as they were in those opening 20 minutes or so. And we started to get a foothold in the game. We started to, you know, start to do our own things. The big problem for me tonight is that they just felt like there was too many square pegs in round holes. Aubameyang playing out on the right-hand side doesn't work. It really does not work. You see when he switched to the left how much more comfortable he was. There was a game recently where Aubameyang went to the right and we were like, it's not working, need to change things. And he did. And when he moved back over, it was a different player. He doesn't like it on the right-hand side. We can see that. Apart from his goal, Lacazette had a poor evening, you know, but with strikers, you can have, you know, 89 poor minutes. If for 1 minute of that game, you do something and you score and you win the match, that's what you're paid to do, you know. So you won't look back at the previous 75, 80 odd minutes that he played and you won't think how poor he really was because he scored the winning goal. But you've got to you know, ask questions about it. You've got to sit there and kind of, you know, digest the performance as a whole. And it wasn't that great. Joe Willock, I rate the lad. I think he's such a promising youngster, does so many good things, but he was dreadful tonight. His final delivery, I've said about this so many times on previews and player ratings and everything else, that he's got to start to release the ball earlier. He's got to understand about, you know, when to give the ball and stop holding on to it and trying to go for all the glory. You remember the game away at Bournemouth in the league when he went through, should have laid it off, went for glory, missed. There was the Chelsea game when we was 1-0 up. He got the opportunity, back to goal, slide it into Lacazette. He's got a one-on-one. He tries and has a shot on the turn. If it goes in, great, but it doesn't. And you're going to look at that and say, why didn't you pass it? And these are the things. You know, you've got to understand that and you've got to learn from that as a player. So yeah, for me, it just wasn't a great performance from him tonight. Saka, you know, I've seen people already calling and going, oh, he's man of the match and everything because he's got another assist. That's 9 for the season. That's unbelievable. Trust me on that. But he wasn't man of the match tonight. You know, he had a relatively quiet game by his recent high standards, shall we say. But when he got the opportunity to get the ball in and create that opportunity, he did. But yeah, Leno was the real standout player for me. Made a save in the second half as well. He didn't know it was offside, but what a save. And that justified Mikel Arteta's, you know, decision to play him, because that was quite a surprise before the start of the game, because, you know, normally the reserve keepers get the cup matches. You know, Martinez will normally play in the Europa League, the FA Cup, etc., etc. But Mikel Arteta's obviously looked at it and said, you know what, we've got more chance of winning this than finishing in the top 4, whatever it's going to be, and getting in the Champions League this way. So this is our priority, and this is where we're going to have to play strong players. And I'm going to play my first choice players. So, you know, you look at the starting lineup itself, Leno in goal, Sokratis at right back. Now, I remember Arteta tried that one out against Leeds. I'm still not sure about that, to be quite honest with you. He's just a little bit ropey, but it makes you ask a few questions maybe about Ainsley Maitland-Niles and why he's not getting a look in. Maybe he's not pulling his weight in training. Maybe he's not doing the right things to impress Arteta. That could be one of the reasons. Mustafi, Luiz were centre-backs again. Mustafi picked up a little knock at the end. Hopefully that's not too serious. Saka stayed in at left-back. That was a surprise. I thought that Kolasinac would get a run out for this game. Guendouzi and Xhaka were the two that were sitting in front. Granit Xhaka does all the patrolling, does all the simple stuff, breaks the play, releases it. Guendouzi, he just holds on to the ball too much for me. He does that little bit too much, where the likes of Torreira wins the ball, releases, wins the ball, releases. Guendouzi, he'll win the ball and then he'll look around a little bit and then he'll release. And I feel that it doesn't help what's in front of him. Aubameyang, of course, like I said, played out on that right-hand side. Martinelli played on the left-hand side. Quiet evening for him by his recent standards. Joe Willock played in that 10, and I've already said what I feel about his performance tonight. And Lacazette up front. So yeah, it was a bit of a strange one to go so strong, but it kind of, you know, says just how important this competition is. Ceballos come on, Maitland-Niles come on very late for Sokratis, who was injured, and Nicolas Pepe. So yeah, in terms of the actual game itself, Olympiacos had 10 shots on goal, Arsenal had 12. Olympiacos only had 2 shots on target, and we only had 3. So that was Olympiacos' biggest problem. They were creating chances, but they just didn't hit the target. Possession, 52% to Olympiacos, 48 to Arsenal, of course. Passes, 463 to Olympiacos and 442 to Arsenal. So it was quite even in that respect. Pass accuracy, 84% for Olympiacos, 85% for Arsenal. 11 fouls committed by Olympiacos and 14 fouls committed by Arsenal. There was 4 yellow cards to Olympiacos and only 2 to Arsenal. One of them I wasn't too happy with, actually. It was Granit Xhaka's one, because it was a bit petulant, and hopefully, you know, that don't come back and, you know, have repercussions later on down in the stages and whatnot when he gets suspended, if he does. And yeah, a bit silly that. But yeah, no red cards, 2 offsides apiece, 6 corners to Olympiacos and 3 to Arsenal. So overall, it was quite an even game. I feel that in the first 10 minutes, Olympiacos had a lot of chances, 2 most notably. But then if you flip that and you say in the last 10 minutes, we had a lot of chances. You think of the Sokratis one that hit the bar, and of course the Lacazette one where we went 5 on 2. How we didn't capitalise on that. I feel if we would have got that second goal, that would have been it. Tie over, done and dusted. But it wasn't to be, was it? But overall, look, we got the job done. It wasn't a great performance. We're not going to play amazing every single week. We're not going to be as good as we were in the second half, for example, against Newcastle every single week. And yeah, sometimes you just got to ride your luck. Sometimes you've got to, you know, not play great, but pick up results. And one of the biggest problems that we've had as fans and what we've moaned about is too many draws, and we just can't get ourselves over the line and snatch a win when we're playing crap and all that kind of stuff. But tonight we did that. We played crap. Let's be real about it. We were not good tonight, but we won. And if you would have said to me or any other Arsenal fan before kickoff, like I said, that we'll go away from home in Europe, get an away goal, keep a clean sheet, we'd have bit your hand off. So all in all, a good night. 3 clean sheets in the last 3 games. And now we need to regroup and we need to get ready for the game against Everton on Sunday. Huge game. Huge game, man, because they're above us. And if we want to try and break that top 5. And the other thing is as well, finishing the top 6 is important, because if we finish 7th, for example, then there could be the possibility of going into the earlier rounds of the Europa League. A bit like what Wolves have had to do this season. And your, you know, campaign starts in the middle of July, right when you're supposed to be doing pre-season. It completely messes things up, and we don't want that. So finishing in the top 6, if we can get in that top 4, if 5th place is a Champions League place as well, we don't know. So yeah, listen, job done. That's all I can say. So we move on to the Everton game. If you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you smash a like on this video. There will be a preview to the Everton game. There will be player ratings. There'll be player ratings to this game tomorrow morning. Yeah, I'll see you lot soon. I'm out of here.